I know, I'm a great fan, and I would have loved to have been watching that match tomorrow. Fortunately or unfortunately, I'm going to be on a road show at that time when the match starts, campaigning for my friend and candidate in the Pudupalli by-election. So I'll miss at least the first half of the match. But once the road show is over, I certainly hope to see India coming to a glorious victory. It's a tough match because the Pakistan side is a good side. They are at full strength, and we are unfortunately still hit by injuries for some of our key players. But nonetheless, I hope we will give a good account of ourselves. It will be a close match and one that we will come out on top tomorrow. Well, I wish them well. I mean, I understand the logic of saying that why do we want to have elections every 6 months here and there, and that they are arguing that ultimately it costs money, then there's code of conduct, so there'll be paralysis of governance for periods of time. All those arguments we understand. But the counter is, your diagnosis can be right, but your prescription can be wrong. And the prescription cannot work in a parliamentary system. If you had a presidential system where somebody is elected for a fixed term, then he or she survives whether or not the parliamentary majority is gone. But in a parliamentary system, you don't have that. The chief executive of the country is selected by a parliamentary majority, a legislative majority, and the moment that majority goes for whatever reason, the government falls. And when the government falls, then a new election has to be held out of sync with the calendar that they want to see. So because that is the system we have, and because it would be undemocratic for a government that has lost its majority to continue, there is no practical way in which you can implement such a system. The second concern that many of us have is that the big diversity of India actually benefits from this staggered calendar that has evolved over the years. Remember, from 47 to 67, we all had national and state elections at the same time, same election calendar. It was only after some of the state governments that were formed after the 67 election as coalitions started falling that the calendar slipped, and then the national government also fell in 1970. Its term was till 72, and the elections were held in 71. Therefore, that calendar also got slipped, and thereafter there's been a number of changes, and that's why now there are different calendars for different states. The same thing will happen again in future. So if you were to create artificially a kind of 1967 type situation tomorrow, what is to prevent the same thing happening that happened there? And I think that we must have a serious discussion of practicalities. You can have a logical argument, oh, this is costing too much money, distraction, etc. But when your solution doesn't work, what is the point of wasting the nation's time on it? Let us see if Mr. Kovind's committee can come up with any practical solutions. We will listen attentively, but we have every reason to have a lot of skepticism about this entire initiative.
नमस्कार, मैं हूं मानक गुप्ता। अगर आपको हमारा ये वीडियो पसंद आया हो तो इसे लाइक और शेयर जरूर करें, और हां, हमें सब्सक्राइब और फॉलो करना ना भूलें ताकि आप देश और दुनिया की कोई खबर मिस ना करें। तो जुड़े रहिए हमारे साथ और देखते रहिए न्यूज़ 24।